Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys. I don't know what happened with those videos I put out, but I'll do them over. No problem. All right. In case you guys don't know, I did a video a few hours ago and I was talking about T.O. And I was just basically talking about him getting into the Hall of Fame, why he's a Hall of Famer. One of the things people love to use against T.O., in particularly Skip Bayless, which I'm going to get to Skip Bayless in a separate video, is Skip Bayless loves to talk about how T.O. led the league and drop passes and all that type of shit. Well, you know what? In every sport, you're going to make mistakes. Whether in basketball, whether you average 30 points a game, but you have, a couple of turnovers and you turnover prone, that happens. Or you make a lot of turnovers. Just like Stephen Curry is one of the greatest basketball players that I've ever saw as far as shooting goes. But Stephen Curry produces a lot of turnovers. And that's unfortunate. But that never stopped him from becoming a two-time league MVP and a future Hall of Famer and a two-time NBA champion and a scoring champion. That's just one of his flaws. Now, since Skip Bayless loved to talk about, T.O. dropping passes, what about the passes that T.O. caught? What about that playoff game versus Green Bay, where he caught the game-winning touchdown? Yes, he had dropped a few balls, but yes, Steve Young believed in him to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw the ball again, and he threw through all that traffic, and T.O. managed to catch the ball and hold on to it. And the 49ers won that game. So what about that catch? What about that game against the Dallas Cowboys where T.O. caught like about three touchdowns, I think, 3 or 4 touchdowns? And he kept running across the field, spiking the ball on the star. That was classic. They should show that game once a year. So what about that game? What about that game in Oakland versus the Raiders where he torched Charles Woodson? And Charles Woodson is a future first ballot Hall of Famer himself. He's the shoe-in. He's a lock. It doesn't matter who's in the same class with Charles Woodson. He's getting voted into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. So what about that? Okay. And of course, that Super Bowl. I mean, he lit up the Patriots defense. They couldn't stop him. Only thing he didn't do was score a touchdown. He would have been Super Bowl MVP. He had the game of his life. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things about T.O., the difference between him and Randy Moss. Randy Moss was a deep threat receiver. If Randy Moss caught the ball in the open field and he got ahead of you, it was a wrap. Randy Moss didn't punish defense. He wasn't a catch the ball and run type of dude. But as far as launching the ball 30, 40 yards and him catching the ball, yeah. You know what I'm saying? T.O. would run up the middle. He didn't have no problem because T.O. was super strong. And that's the difference between him and Randy Moss. And as I said before, Randy Moss deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, of course. But I'm just keeping it 100. Skip Bayless need to remember that. You got to take the good with the bad. Yes, he dropped balls, but look at his numbers. Look at his overall stats. He may have dropped some balls, but how in the fuck is he number 2 in what? All-time catches and receiving yards? He must have caught more balls than he dropped. But anyway, that's the difference between him and Randy Moss. Like I said, I have no problem with Randy Moss. He deserved to get in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. But I'm just telling you the difference between him and T.O. Randy Moss wasn't a catch and run receiver. And that's something that Skip Bayless is leaving out. But it is what it is, man. I'm out.